forget is that every single one of us sitting here today has been somewhere in our family history, has been the recipient of folks that were there for them in a time of need, in a time of struggle. Every single one of us are here because of what I would call a conspiracy of love, of people that when your family was struggling, when your family was hit with a disaster or with an unexpected challenge or hardship, that other Americans, other people came forward to them. It's the story of New Jersey. I've been all around our state. I live in Newark, and the stories of immigrants coming here with nothing in their pocket from all over Europe, from all over the world, and meet people that are there for them with a spirit of love. I just came from Cape May, where Harriet Tubman lived. And the stories of blacks and whites working together, these folks who've just escaped slavery and pooling food and resources to help people get them on the feet. It is the American story. And I've been around enough now as a mayor that I meet people who are thriving in life who remind me that, hey, 15 years ago when my family was in crisis, you helped to connect us to a resource. You helped get us back on our feet. And so this is the story of humanity. I love the ideals of rugged individualism. But we are not a country that is this great because of those ideals of rugged individualism. We are a country that's this great because of the ideals of radical love. Rugged individualism didn't map the human genome, didn't beat the Nazis, didn't get us to the moons. It was Americans working together and understanding that all of us have genius, all of us have worth, and when we invest in each other, the returns are extraordinary. Yeah. And so I'm just so happy to be here. I have this great privilege that you all gave me to be this senator, a senator from the greatest state in America. I got Jersey on my shoulder. You cut me, I bleed Jersey. I love our state. So, for those of you who don't follow the highways and byways of Washington, and I'm glad that a lot of you don't, I'm so happy to see the local leaders that are here. That really, I miss Mayor, I miss your job. It takes you like 45 minutes longer to go shopping at the grocery store. But you're on the ground, the council people that are here, the local leaders that are here, God bless you all, because that's where the rubber meets the road. But you all sent me to Washington, and I joke with my staff all the time, I am the vegetarian senator that's going to do everything I can to bring home the bacon. And really work hard to get New Jersey's taxpayer money back here. And so to get a $1 million, $50,000, I'm not going to forget that $50,000 mark. I know you're going to use it really well. This is your taxpayer dollars that we wrestled for a lot in the Senate, and earmarks had gone away. I don't know if you all know this. We haven't had a year that we've been able to do it, but a lot of us were conspiring together to get congressionally directed funding because it's less than 1% of the federal government's budget. But we know our senators know their communities, know their states, know the places where the money goes the furthest way. And so I know it's hot out here, and I want to just end by saying two things. One is, I am so proud that we were able to get your tax dollars back to your community to invest in ways that are going to pay extraordinary dividends in helping people, in planting seeds that will grow a harvest for this community in our state in years to come. But I just finally want to end to let you all know that I recognize the work you're doing is not easy. I recognize that we are still in a nation that's struggling with a lot of challenges. There are people that are struggling with addiction and medical issues. There are people that have hit financial speed bumps that have knocked their whole world upside down. I want to ask you to do what a leader in my community did where I live in Newark. I have to say, I've seen greatness all around the state. I see it before me now. And one of my greatest heroes is a woman named Miss Virginia Joe. She was a tenant president on the 5th floor of some projects in Newark called Brick Towers, where I actually moved in for 8 years to live there. And her son was murdered in the lobby of the building that I moved into. Talk about tragedies. But she never left, she never gave up. She never stopped being there for the community. She held us together. I used to sit with her because I was a lawyer, and I started my career before I got to become a city council person. I started my career representing tenant associations. And I would sit by her and I would watch people come to her door in a frequent flow and just say, hey, I can't pay the rent this month, can you help me? Or hey, my child really needs a job, can you help me? She was this one-stop shop for people in crisis. She taught me that hope is the active conviction. It's not the absence of despair, it's the active conviction that despair will not have the last word. Well, we all get broken, and I tell you, there was one day in Newark that I was really broken. There was a shooting in my neighborhood, and I ran there, and there was a teenager with gunshot wounds, and I ran to his side and tried to render aid. Blood was everywhere. It was so traumatizing. This kid, as I tried to clear the blood from his mouth and screaming for him not to leave, I felt his pulse grow faint, and then he died. And I'll never forget when the paramedics came, pushed me out of the way, ripped open his chest. I just sat there feeling this sense of horror. The police director, who was the director for the mayor I would eventually replace, he said to me when I was writing my book, he goes, Cory, you don't understand, you were shaking when I came to you. I don't even remember how I got back to my home that night, but I remember wanting to give up. I was done, everybody. I was so full of hurt and rage and pain. For the first time in my life, I felt like I wanted to give up on trying even. I went to bed that night and I got up and I went down the next morning, went down in the elevator, walked through that lobby, and as I'm walking through that lobby, there is this memory in the back of my head that this is where Mrs. Jones's son was killed. And as soon as I get out the courtyard, God planned it. It was the only person in that courtyard early in that morning.